Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and yesterday we got a new set of blue posts featuring additional changes coming to the patch 10.2. This week we get even more balance tuning to some of the Season 3 Mythic Plus dungeons, additional developer updates regarding upcoming content, as well as a whole new list of PvP class changes. Many have been wondering if we are to see even more additional class tuning since the release of Season 3. And it looks like those anticipated class changes are finally here. And inside we get to see so many adjustments, some big and some small, where certain playstyles that are way overrepresented, even to the point to overshadow all others, are being reduced as of this most recent update, while certain few that are underrepresented, undervalued, and even sometimes underdeveloped are being buffed up instead, in order to give them a little bit more of a competitive edge to be able to stand all on their own 2 feet within the Season 3 content of the patch 10.2. So for today's video, I wanted to go over this entire massive new list of class tuning that's hitting the live realms as of this most recent weekly regional update. However, right before we dive into the details regarding the nerfs and buffs contained within this blue post, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway. Especially if you want to get more regular content regarding Dragonflight patch 10.2.5 or any of the future updates going forward. First, we have the class of Death Knight, where the spec of Unholy was able to escape this newest set of nerfs mostly unscathed, seeing only a slight reduction to their Death Coil ability, while leaving the rest of their damage kit untouched, which should hopefully keep them relatively competitive. However, unlike Death Knights, we do see an extensive set of changes coming to the class of Demon Hunters, which have been surging when it comes to overall PvP popularity, especially when it comes to the top-end content. So to break down their popularity a notch, we do see a nerf to some of their most impactful capstone abilities, from spells like the Hunt, the Cleave of Fell Barrage, and the impactful explosive Elysian Decree. We also see further reductions to certain talents like Inertia, as well as the vulnerability window of Essence Break in order to help reduce their overall burstiness, as well as a small nerf to Throw Glaive, which slightly reduces their cleave capabilities. However, the rest of the Demon Hunter kit remains untouched, which will still likely leave Demon Hunters as a fairly strong option for now within the Season 3. Next, we have a handful of smaller class changes, starting with Restoration Druids, where we see the periodic healing of Life Bloom slightly decrease, as well as an overall nerf to the Grove Guardians, both their Nourish healing cast as well as the overall self-survivability. The class of Hunter, specifically the spec of Marksmanship, sees a mixed bag of changes, with a base reduction to the Rapid Fire ability, as well as a further reduction for their Force Set bonus, which increases the damage of Rapid Fire to 40% within PvP. However, filler abilities such as Arcane Shot or the talented Chimera Shot do see a small improvement. Holy Paladin's mana regeneration gains a little bit of a give back, as the spec is going to be able to regenerate roughly 30% more mana within combat situations, while the spec of Shadow Priest does see an 8% overall damage buff, with the PvP talent of Mind Trauma duration slightly reduced by 5 additional seconds. Then we have a massive set of changes for the class of Mage, starting with the spec of Arcane, where we see the slow of Blast Wave further reduced, while we see the Arcane's Chrono Shift talent movement speed buff also cut back on quite a bit, which will reduce the amount of movement and kiting that Arcane Mages can do against other classes within PvP. To bring Arcane down even further, especially when it comes to their survivability, they're also reducing Temporal Shield Healing, which is only going to let you recover 60% of all damage taken instead of 100%, which is a considerable reduction. The spec of Fire Mages is gaining a little bit more base power and is going to be grown less reliant on the PvP talent of Glass Cannon, where Ignite damage, Fireballs, as well as Scorches are all going to have a basic damage increase. However, Glass Cannon is being nerfed to make the talent a little bit less of a necessary option for Fire Mages to all spec into. However, Frost Mages are set to receive new buffs as of this week, with a lot of the base abilities further improved, Everything from spells like Flurry, Ice Lance, Comet Storm, Frozen Orb, and even the Frozen Bomb PvP talent, which is being increased by 80% within PvP, which should make him far more impactful when it comes to their overall output. However, some of the RNG elements of the class, such as the talent of Freezing Winds, is going to grant you slower proc rates for your Ice Lance Fingers of Frost. And the same thing can be said about Frozen Orb, which is also going to provide you less procs of Fingers of Frost. Overall, this leaves Frost Mages with a lot more baseline damage, with some of the RNG elements toned down a notch. This allows the Frost Mage to fish for certain procs and set up a big burst combo, but not have to overly rely off of randomness in order to generate a lot of their damage and pressure output. Then we see a small adjustment for Mistweaver Monks, where their basic damage abilities, everything from Rising Sun Kick, your Tiger Palm, as well as Blackout Kick additional procs from the teachings of the Monastery talent, all see a damage reduction. However, the Ancient Teachings talent, which is the talent that allows you to do combat healing within PvP, is seeing a healing increase. Overall, this results in a decrease to the offensive power of the Mistweaver Monk. However, this change should hopefully allow him to retain a lot of the overall healing throughput, which will diminish the amount of pressure that a Mistweaver can generate alone within BGs and arenas, while still allowing them to fully support their allies with a melee healing role. Next, we have the class of Rogue, which is coming by mostly unscathed as of this reset. First of all, Assassination Rogue's Kingsbane Poison does see its initial and periodic damage slightly reduced this week. However, the rest of their sustained damage and bleed damage does remain untouched. Outlaw Rogue's Crackshot free dispatch damage from between the eyes does get a slight nerf. However, the rest of their sustained and burst damage abilities do remain unharmed. For Subtlety Rogues, we see the Perforated Veins bonus damage slightly reduced, as well as Gormo's Bite initial damage, which was a fun combo to put together. However, the damage output of some of the most impactful finishers, from Eviscerates to Secret Techniques, all remain unharmed this week. And lastly, we have ourselves the Elemental Shamans, where we see the base abilities of Lightning Bolt as well as Chain Lightning buffed as of this week. Similar to the spec of Fire Mage, Elemental Shaman's talent of Volcanic Surge is being slightly reduced in order to give the spec a little bit more overall consistency without having to rely on Volcanic Surge to improve the overall output. And lastly, the talent of Ice Fury does see its initial damage increased by 85%, which should give this ability a bit more of a bite going forward when it comes to setting up your Frost Shock combos. And for now, that's going to be the entire list of newest class changes available as of this week with every regional weekly reset. I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about all of these PvP changes in the comments down below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.